Hi, I'm Suzie. I always wondered if I had the chance to meet Mrs. Santa Claus, what would her nails look like? I'm suspecting they'd be filled with candy canes. That's what I'm gonna do today. Let's get started. So I've already prepped these nails ready to go, so we're ready now to put the acrylic on so we can get the candy cane in there right away. Okay, so I think I'll leave the accent nail for this one. So this will be the one that we're just gonna make the traditional candy cane color. And I'm going to put a bit of white acrylic underneath. Now I'm just putting this form on. If you wanna get more details on forms, I do have some videos on that. So my candy canes, as I said before, I chop them up into little bits because you got bigger chunks and smaller chunks. When you're inlaying product into acrylic or gel, you do want your chunks to be pretty small. So I do have different variations in here that we can grab. No, I think that looks pretty good. They can be pretty fine. Okay. I think for the background, rather than just suspending in clear, I think we will put a little bit of white in the background. So I'm going to work with acrylic today. So I'm working with a pure white color. I'm going to use that as my base color so the candy canes can sit on top. So we're just going to put a thin layer down. Got my little tissues to catch the acrylic. These are great pads. I like them a lot. Okay, so right now I'm just going to lay in a thin layer of the acrylic white. Now I'm not going to make it a French or anything. I'm just going to lay it in. Even if I made it a French, you probably wouldn't see it anyway, just to create a background. Now I've been laying awake at night, to be honest with you, wondering what shape would Mrs. Santa Claus have? I still haven't decided. You know, she has to be pretty up with the trends and stuff simply because, you know, she knows everything and all the trendy gifts that we want. But she's so traditional in so many ways. Oh, it's a quandary. I'm going to make them long so I can still decide. I'll make them sort of a coffin, I think, so I can still alter the shape when it comes to shaping time. Okay. Now I'm really going to load this up with candy cane, and they can be quite thick because I don't want it to be thick when I'm finished. I want this to be quite thin. Lay your base layer down very, very thin because you just want the candy canes to recess inside of it. The thinner your product is, the longer it will take to dry. Oh, and that's thin. Look down there. Ooh, mummy. Okay, let's dig into some candy cane. Now the thinner ones have fallen to the bottom here, but I'm going to see if I can dig them out. Oh, there's some. So I'm actually going to try to retrieve them. Maybe I should get a little clear. Let's get a little clear. What's this? The clear one. So by getting a little clear, that means I can pick up the candy cane. I'm just going to get a little bit of acrylic, get some candy canes, and place them right in there. Oh, even still, it's still a bit thick. That one laid in flat. Yeah, so you do not want this part to be really thick. Let me see if I get some thinner little pieces. It's amazing how thin you really do got to get those pieces. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, I think I'm going to put some pink in there too in my nail bed part before I get carried away with too many candy canes. I want to bury it in the pink. I'm just doing the nail plate part. I'm going to put a little pink right near this area here. Get that pink in there before I finish the candy cane. I don't really want to put the candy cane near the cuticle, but I do want to fill that in with pink. kind of stuck to the bottom. This stuff, if it has any moisture in the air, it will stick in your dish a little. So you do gotta mix it around a little. I'm trying to get some smaller chunks. Let's see if I can spread some out here a little. And find a small, ooh, see, look at all them on the bottom. That's where all my smaller chunks are. It's almost like dust, like candy cane dust. Too big. Get a little bit bigger near the free edge, especially in this area here. They can be bigger chunks. That one's a little too big. I like that one. That one's a good one. I'm gonna make sure he stays in there. So it's a little bumpy now, but I can always put a nice clear layer on top of that and smooth it right out. Hang on, I think I've got a little spot there I can add. So when you're finished doing all your inlays, if you got everything in there you want to get in there, then you can put a clear layer of acrylic on top. This is what you want to call an inlay. We're actually encasing the product, which in this case is candy cane. We're just encasing it completely inside. You want to make sure that you're able to encase the whole thing. Okay. I'm going to do them all of that color, but I think I'm going to do the accent color with you now. So I'm just going to form up the accent finger, and I think I'm going to do the accent with the ones with the red and pink candy cane. I thought of the blue one, but I don't know. It's probably really pretty, but I don't think it would look good with the combined with this one. So I think I'll stick with the red colors. Okay, so I'm going to put the pink this time on first. Okay, I'm going to do this pink. So I like to have a bit of a white background, so hopefully the color will pop a little bit more. So now I'm going to pick up little fine bits of this pink and lay it in there. It's a very bubblegum kind of color. That's a bit big. Maybe I'll lay this in here like this, then pick up. See if I can shove it in there. Maybe that'll help a little bit better. can certainly see the pink in this a little bit more. You certainly have to have the small little dusting bits, because the big chunks they don't come in like slivers, like flat. They come in like chunks, like rock, and they're just a little too thick to put in all parts of that nail. I hope that makes sense. It's quite pretty. It's almost like shells. Have you guys ever seen crushed shells? That's what this is very similar like. It's very pretty. And get a little dusting. If you just put a little bit over here and then get a little. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can cap that now. Sometimes when you cap it, sometimes you want to let it just dry a little bit, just to hold the little bits in there before you put the clear capping on, because when you put the clear capping on, you could pull it sometimes. Watch this bead. When I put this bead on top, it's a big one, right? I'm gonna put it right on top. And I want it to kind of fall over the candy canes to totally encase it. Of course, that's a giant bead, but I'm gonna work it down the nail. I've never encased candy canes in my nails before, so I'm certainly learning the parameters of that. That one's too big. It's not going to fit in there. I definitely got better with the placement than the first one I did. I should really start with the pinky, because that's the finger you don't notice the most when you're learning something. Then you get better. Then you do the most important fingers that you notice the more. I should know that. Okay, we have candy cane fingers. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest. Okay, I finished up the shaping and fine-tuned the shaping for the square, and now I'm going to put the top coat on, and I'm going to use the Joya top coat. Now this one I think is a 30-second nuke. Before I begin top coat, I do wipe it quite thoroughly with alcohol, just to remove any of the dust. Don't want any of that. There's a little bit of shimmer in some candy cane, and I can see some of it coming out when the top coat goes on. Isn't that pretty? So when you're putting on your top coat, you don't have to rush because it's not curing on you until you put it into the light. But just make sure you're not getting any on the skin. When you put the top coat on, you can really see the individual pieces really peeking out. And you can put a little bit on the end there like that. Some do it to seal it. I'll be honest with you, I've done it. I don't really see a difference. It doesn't seem to make a difference to me, so I don't necessarily seal it unless it's a darker color, and I want to make sure that I've got some on the end, because if you're holding a glass or something like that, you can sometimes see the end of it, and it looks kind of icky. So I will put it on for that, but to seal it, I've never really noticed any advantages to sealing the edge. So I'm going to nuke that for 30 seconds, and I can't wait to check out the reveals. Let's take a look. I bet you Mrs. Claus picks a different color every single year. Hence, that's why they're making so many new colors. Thanks for joining me in this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.